Okay, we were out last weekend, so we're back now, and we have 2 episodes to review. All is Possible and the examples. That is coming up in just a second. Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd, and here from Farpoint Studios, we're just getting started with adding a few little set decorations here. We have big plans. I have consulted with my experts, and we're going to be decorating this place in the next few weeks. In the meantime, let's talk about Star Trek Discovery and All is Possible and the examples. In the first, we have a show that is devoted just to Sylvia Tillie, really. I mean, there's a diplomatic mission, but it's almost the B story with Burnham and Book, and we won't go into that at all. But we'll talk a little bit about Tillie, as she was very much the moral center, really, of the crew of Discovery, and her leaving the regular bridge crew might be an impact on the show. Star Trek, except for the original series, has had always someone that represented the fans' point of view. The original series, I'm not certain that they thought they had much of a following and didn't worry about that. They had Spock to kind of show that there were aliens in this universe that they created and to give kind of a commentary on humanity. And we've continued that in subsequent programs. In Next Generation, we have Data that comments on humanity, but we also had Wesley Crusher, who was able to represent us with the enthusiasm that a fan would have for what Starfleet does. Same thing in Deep Space Nine with Jake Sisko, and the Spock element, the Data element, was fulfilled mostly by Quark. And then in Voyager, we had Harry Kim as the audience representative, and Neelix as kind of the outsider. So all of these had the same kind of dynamic. And of course, in Discovery, we have Book as being kind of the outsider, and Tillie as being the insider, the audience representative, if you will. And so with the elimination of Tillie, that might create a weakness in future plots. And we see that in these 2 episodes. First of all, in this episode where Tillie is called to lead a group of Starfleet cadets on just a regular planetary survey, we, of course, find that there are difficulties that happen, and she represents Starfleet as it's supposed to be. The everything is possible, the you never give up, the you don't shrink in the face of adversity, all the heroic elements. And she showed that very well, while still maintaining her enthusiasm, her fan-like enthusiasm, and that will be missed in future episodes. Without going into just how that resolved itself, we did see her do some heroic things and made an important decision which puts her off of the regular cast by the time the examples starts. And without her there, we don't have the same sense of wonder, but in this case, it's basically a justice show. It is that we do things better than everybody else does, and it is by having people that were in a prison colony not being rescued from a dying planet brings our conflict in the examples. Now, we introduce a new character by the name of Tarka. He is a Ryzen who is an engineer who's probably as brilliant as Stamets is, and that causes a little jealousy on Stamets' part. The fact that he has not been as cooperative with Stamets before also kind of stabs at Stamets' ego. And however, once they get together, they become allies, and their ideas for how to find out more about the DMA puts them teamed up against Saru in this situation. Saru is left on the ship while Burnham and Book go and try to free the prisoners. And Saru once again shows his superior leadership abilities in keeping the engineers from getting a little too excited about what they are out to do and not put the ship in danger. But what we see here is a little more information about the DMA, and that a minor spoiler here, hold your ears, it is man-made. Now, with this, it brings it closer to the idea that we've had before, that this is similar to the Planet Killer and the Doomsday Machine, although made up of possibly a quantum singularity rather than a physical machine as they had in the original series. So we still have some things to learn about this. A couple of things we find out. They're trying to figure out if it's man-made who built it, and they went through the Metrons, which we have only heard of in one episode of the original series. That was when there was a spatial interface, if you recall, where Kirk is trapped by himself on a ship that is fading into another universe. And then the Iconians, which was used in Next Generation. They had created this instant transport anywhere in the universe technology. Also, they mentioned the Q continuum, but Admiral Vance indicated that the Q had not been heard from in some 600 years, which would put him about 100 years after the events of Star Trek Picard. So they're leaving some elbow room there to bring the Q back in subsequent series. We see more of Kovich, who was originally the interrogator. Now he's become kind of the Starfleet psychologist, kind of an outsider there, and of mysterious nature and origin. He knows about the alternate universe created in the movies with Chris Pine, and he's suspected by Book. And Book may be picking up the moral center of the crew with Tillie gone. Certainly, there's nobody that has the same kind of enthusiasm for Starfleet, although it looks like they're trying to develop other members of the bridge crew with new capabilities or newly found capabilities to us, where there's one of the members of the bridge crew, whose name I forget now, is helping out the people on the planet that's about to be destroyed, because he had gone through hurricanes and knew something about disaster relief. We also focus a bit on Culber, who has been kind of in a martyrdom stance for a time, because he's been the ship's counselor and the ship's doctor and never stopping. It's brought to his attention by more than one person, and he finally takes in Kovich to counsel him, and Kovich kind of cuts to the quick on why it is that he's doing this, and that's also well played. Some interesting things in both of these episodes. They show monsters, and this is not something that you usually see in Star Trek shows. In All Is Possible, there are some kind of land sharks or something like that burrow under. It reminds me of the worms in Dune. And then in the examples, at the prison, they have bugs. Or actually they're mechanical, but they look like bugs that are landmines, traveling landmines, and also launch saw blade kind of weapons. And this is something that we don't usually see in Star Trek, and it's a bit troubling because they've never really gone to the monster kind of thing. All of the aliens that we see are generally people that just have different points of view, not necessarily anything that is inherently dangerous. Now, they had the big red monster in the Star Trek movie reboot, and I suppose that follows along with that, but it's a little bit troubling to me. So anyway, that's what we have. We do notice a few Easter eggs. The USS Janeway and the T'Pau. The T'Pau, of course, was the Vulcan Empress that was first identified in Amok time in the original series, and also was brought up in Star Trek The Motion Picture. And, of course, the Janeway indicates that Catherine Janeway was very distinguished and has survived the test of time for rescuing Voyager out of the Delta Quadrant. So that's what went on in these 2 episodes. We hope that you enjoyed the episodes and hope that you're enjoying our evolving video series here. In the next few weeks, we're going to have a different backdrop here. We're going to, right now I'm having to bring in portable power in order to run all this, and it'll get a little bit more sophisticated. Our new on-air sign will actually light up once I get that, and we'll be filling the shelf with knickknacks and things like that, and have some other decorations coming in to keep it interesting. So stay tuned to the channel. Subscribe if you will. It costs nothing, and it won't get you as wet as I'm about to get because it just started raining outside. But you don't have to do anything. It's just something that helps the channel. It helps us with YouTube in order to grow our influence here. So we hope that you'll help us out with that. And ring the bell so you know when the next video comes your way. We're going to be home through New Year's, so we should have some more to talk to you about. We have more Doctor Who coming up on New Year's Day. We have some other things that will be happening in the meantime, and we have coming up fairly soon the Orville, which we're looking forward to as well. So stay tuned to the channel. Thank you for watching. Until next time, stay dry and don't go far.